Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome to another express running session. Now these express videos really are for kids and beginners, although of course if there are any grown-up kids watching, you're more than welcome to stick around and watch, although please don't feel that I'm patronising you if you already know everything of what I'm about to say. So last time I did an introduction to diesel locomotives, and I always think that diesels are a little bit easier to get your head around because in our world today there are still diesel engines all over the place, and in fact half of our cars these days are still powered by diesels, so it's quite easy to imagine how those work. But of course steam locomotives, or steam trains if you want to call them that, are completely different, and there's one just now. Now these, you might have figured this bit out, run on steam, and really hot pressurised steam enters the cylinders here and operates those cylinders. Now those cylinders are connected to the wheels with these metal pieces called rods, and that causes the wheels to turn. Now the biggest problem is, how do we create that super hot pressurised steam? Well, the first thing you need to make steam of course is water, and it's water that gets heated up and actually turns into the steam. So on railways the water can be taken from the water towers, and there's often water towers on different heritage railways and things, so you've probably seen those before, and the water is then taken from the tower into the locomotive, or rather the tender. That's the tender, and the tender is just used for storing water and something else which we'll talk about in just a second. In fact, let's get onto that now, because obviously you can't just bung water into the cylinders of a steam locomotive and expect it to work. That water has got to be boiled first and turned into the steam. And how do we do that? Well, these days I guess if they were building modern steam locomotives, they would probably use electricity to do that. Inside a steam locomotive there'd probably be something quite similar to a huge kettle, which would just be used to boil the water using electricity. But of course, nearly 200 years ago, when the very first steam locomotives were being built, they certainly didn't have access to electricity, so they had to use what they did have back in those days, and of course that was fire. And in fact, in the belly of every single steam locomotive you see, there will be a gigantic fire. But of course, something is needed to make that fire, and with many steam trains, coal is used, and that's why whenever you see a steam locomotive, there will always be some sort of coal nearby. Now, depending on where you're from, your locomotives, your local steam locos might not have used coal. I do know that in some places in America they used to use wood, and in other places in the world they would use oil, and it just depends really on what was available and what was cheapest. But here in the UK, that's where I'm from, we tended to use coal. I don't really know exactly why we tended to use coal, but the vast majority of our locos did use coal, and those, as you can tell, are going to be the locos that I'm running today. So with that, let's get to the first one then, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so here's the first green loco I'm going to be showing you today. This is the one you've been looking at so far, and this is from a railway called the Great Western Railway, and it's called the Hull class. And as you can see, my Hull class is pulling a small rake, well, it's a medium-sized rake of passenger coaches. So with that, let's get this one started for you. There we go, and you can see those rods going around, turning the wheels from the cylinders. Of course, all these trains are just powered by electric, but they're made to look like they would have done in real life, and in real life they were definitely steam powered. Okay, so here is the next engine for today, and in many ways this one is quite similar to the Hull class. See if you can spot the cylinders on this one. However, you might notice that it does look a little bit different, and I'll tell you what, see if you can figure out what the differences are. If you need to skip back and look at the Hull class again, feel free to, but there is quite a big difference between the Hull class and this one, so see if you can figure that out if you want to. But if not, let's move on. As you can see, this has also got some passenger coaches, just 3 coaches this time, and they're also green to match the engine. So let's get this one started then, and this one is from the Southern Railway, if you were interested in knowing that. So we've had Great Western and Southern so far. Alright, let's start that one up. Okay, so far we've only looked at tender locomotives, that is locomotives that have a tender. But as you can see by this one doesn't actually have a tender, and I bet most of you know this if you've been watching Thomas, but these are known as tank engines, mostly because they do indeed have tanks on the sides of the engine to hold the water. But they also have a coal bunker on the back to hold the coal. So they do exactly the same thing as a tender locomotive, except they carry all of their own coal and water, and very basically that's all there is to it. So this is the L1, it's from the LNER. It is quite an interesting tank engine, as you can see. It's quite a large tank engine too, and it has got some LNER coaches, and these are the coaches that LNER engines tended to pull. Okay, so let's get this one started then, the L1, and we will have a little look at all 3 of these engines run. In fact, they're all coming past you right now. There we go, there's the Hull class in the background, and also the Schools class. So let's watch these go for a bit, shall we? Oops, I think the Schools class has lost its traction tyre. Yes, that Schools class is limping a little bit because half of its traction tyre has come off. So I'll need to fix that after I finish the video, but we'll carry on for now, while ever it still works. Oh dear. Doesn't look very happy, does he? That school's class. Never mind. It'll be alright, I just need a new tyre putting on it. Alright, so now you've learnt a little bit about how steam locomotives work. We're going to move on to part 2 and talk a little bit about the different sorts of jobs that these steam locomotives might do. So I'll be right back in just a second. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, I'm back then. So, as you can probably imagine, different steam locomotives were designed for different jobs. Now this is known as the 28XX, it's from the Great Western Railway and it's a heavy freight locomotive. And freight just is the same as goods, it's basically anything other than passengers. And you can kind of tell that this is designed for big heavy loads because you can see how many driving wheels it's got. And generally speaking, if a locomotive has got loads and loads of driving wheels, that is pretty good evidence usually that it's going to be a heavy freight locomotive of some sort. Now, freight and goods can involve absolutely anything, and in fact, see if you can think of different things it might involve and pop those down in the comments. But this particular train has got livestock, and that is a posh word for animals. So yes, these are all livestock vans where the animals would go inside and get transported around. So here we go then with the Hornby 2800 class, or the 28XX, the heavy freight locomotive. Here we go. There it goes. So the other key type of engine is the passenger engine, and as you can see here we have the A4. It's probably one of the most famous passenger engines ever. It is Mallard. You've probably heard of Mallard because she's the world's fastest steam locomotive. So passenger engines were often designed to look really, really attractive, and they had to look really, really attractive and pretty and beautiful, especially towards the end, because if they didn't, then people wouldn't want to ride on the steam trains and they would just take their cars instead. So you'll find that a lot of the express passenger locos are really, really good looking, and that's why. Now, passenger coaches have changed a lot over time as well. Back when the railways were small and quite early, they had tiny little coaches like these. But as more and more people started to use the railways, the coaches got a little bit bigger, and then a few years later they got bigger even still. And then today we have really, really quite big coaches because the railways are very, very busy. So here we go then. Let's start Mallard off then with coaches from all different eras. Let's get started. And she's a fast engine, so we'll give it some fast speed. Although not too fast. There we go. So the final main type of steam locomotive is the mixed traffic engine. Now, mixed traffic just means that they would be quite happy to do either freight or passenger services. They would be quite happy to do both. So this loco here is known as the Standard Class 4. It's one of the final steam locomotives built in the UK. And as you can see, this one has got a mixed train of both goods and passenger stock. Now, most of the time they would just do one or other, so they would just do passengers or just do freight. But in this case, I've put a mixed train on. That's what it's called, a mixed train. Normally, I think the passengers would go at the front, but on this occasion, I've put the freight first, just to make the passengers angry. So let's get this started then, the Standard Class 4. There we go. Okay, enjoy the running session then. We'll have one last run with these three. So what do you like the best? Do you like freight engines, passenger engines, or mixed traffic engines? Let me know in the poll. We'll find out which is the most popular. That'd be quite interesting, I think. Although quite personally, I tend to like all three really. It's very difficult to choose. So if you're the same, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know in the comments. Wow, Mallard is super fast, isn't she? Alright then folks, well I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about steam locomotives, and of course if you did enjoy it, there's an awful lot more out there, there's an awful lot more information, so feel free to check out some of my other videos if you'd like to learn more. But for now, I think I will leave it there, so as I say, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, thank you for your company, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Alright, cheers everybody, see you next time.